Yeah, we're doing our Call for Kids Radiothon, and Nicole's in with us today from St. Vincent. We're going to talk, and she actually built the hospital from the ground up. I mean,
very instrumental.
Somebody's got to do it.
Somebody's got to do it. So, you know, Nicole, this is what I think our 4th year now we've been doing this, and give us some of the progress up there. We went up and we saw obviously the remodeling. And we saw the new beds and the new rooms and the new technology. Why don't you give our listeners some insight on some of the breakthroughs and some of the new things that are going on up there at the PICU at St. V's?
Sure. Well, we're so glad that you were able to come up and see our new facility, and truly renovated rather. But you know, if you can imagine having a critically ill child in one communal area, 5 beds separated by basically a sheet or a curtain, it's not ideal.
I remember that. Yeah, they had like the pole curtains that would just separate each patient up there.
Right. So you can imagine, you know, a 2 or 3-year-old maybe with a serious case of RSV, and next door to that a 17-year-old who has a major trauma. And so just the dynamics of, you know, the intensity of the situation, you know, the family, the medical care, it just wasn't ideal. And so, you know, Paul, as you mentioned, having those 5 individual pediatric ICU rooms has just been a game changer for us and allowed families to be together. There's family space. I don't want to leave my child at home alone when they're sick. I sleep with them when they're sick, and so I can only imagine how you know, hard it would be to not be able to be with your child in the hospital. So we do have that renovated space, the PICU rooms. In addition to that, telemedicine is huge. You know, I see both of you, you've got your Facebook on here. Technology is a big part of our everyday life, and so thankfully we have a wonderful partnership with Primary Children's out of Salt Lake City, and they just allow us to have access to more specialists, more subspecialists, and make sure that our kids have those you know, physicians who can call in, reach in. We have a camera.
I saw that. I was going to ask you about one of the specialty rooms where they do a lot of diagnostic work and bring in some of the serious patients. They have that camera up on the ceiling, and that enables the corresponding doctors in different locations to actually view and look in on that patient.
That's right. So it's not to catch shoplifters.
Right.
So you're aware, Paul. You don't need to worry. But no, truly, in all reality, it is. You know, our neurologists can tune in. It's basically like a FaceTime connection, but the quality is so much better, and they can tune in. They can see the patient's pupils. They can check all of their vitals, check in. And you know, a lot of those transfers that we send out are those ones that might be a little iffy, those head bonks, those neural traumas where we just don't know, but you always want to err on the side of caution. And so having that direct connection to their neurologist allows them to assess the situation and say, yes, here's the plan of care that we need to do to keep them here, or we probably should transfer this one out. So that's been just a remarkable difference that we've been able to make.
Well, and through the course of the years too, because of the Radiothon and your generous donors like the Metzger family and stuff like that out there, we've been able to advance things so much from where we talked about earlier in 2008, sending over 400 kids a year out, and here we are in 2019, maybe 50 a year. Now only have to go out, so we really have increased our capabilities and the ability to treat not, you know, kids that are very sick, but also trauma kids too in the pediatric area. And also the thing I was impressed with was the neonatal area up there, the preemies that they take them as they can keep them alive as little as 23 weeks.
23 weeks.
It's amazing up there, the breakthroughs they're making up there as well.
Yeah, you know, you appreciate this, having cows, and know when a baby comes early that you know it's a hardship on everyone, and going back to, you know, those transfers out, it's a hardship on not only the patient but the family, and so being able to keep those kids close to home, it's truly a return on investment, and donors know that every dollar that they invest at St. Vincent Healthcare Children's stays in this community. You know, that's so important.
Real important.
There's radiothons everywhere where the money goes out of state, but this is truly your investment stays in our community and helps kids and families from Wyoming, Billings, you know, Eastern eastern Montana, northern Montana. We get kids as far as Bozeman, and so truthfully, we are seen as the pediatric leader in this region, and people value that.
So let me ask you this, and as we continue with our fundraising efforts, because I mean fundraising goes on over the course of the year. This brings a lot of awareness to it. Where do you see St. Vincent's PICU and neonatal care and their trauma center for the kids up there and so forth? Where do you see that going? What is our vision for the future? Where do we want to take this eventually? Say, what are we looking at maybe 5 years from now?
Sure. So I never really know, but what I can guess is that with our pediatric partner here with us in Salt Lake, we again have access to so many more subspecialists, and so they come in, they do a rotation, and so this keeps kids from having to travel to even other towns in Montana where they might have that specialist, or out of state, and so just keeping them here I think is the biggest thing. And then of course making sure that we've got phenomenal nursing, we've got wonderful things, and our hope is to the next step is to bring in a pediatric surgery program, which would really be a game changer.
That'd be awesome. And why do we do it? It's because it's worth it. That's why. So if you can help out, 406-606-1003. You can have them bill you monthly. You can make one-time donations. You can finance a whole new wing at St. Vincent Hospital if you want to.
True.
They'll work with you on anything you want to help out with. So, all right, Nicole, good work. Thanks for
having us.
Thanks.
We sure appreciate it.
All right, maybe we'll chat later.
Sounds good.
All righty.